Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It's going to change the way you see the women in your life forever. Now, I need you to focus closely because what I'm about to reveal isn't something most men ever realize. You might be thinking, she only sees me as a friend. You've told yourself that night after night, convincing yourself it's the truth. But let me be brutally honest with you. There's a very real chance she's secretly attracted to you and you're missing every single signal. You see, women's minds are far more subtle than men understand. She may joke with you, tease you, or even push you away sometimes, and your mind screams friend zone. But what if I told you that her actions might be whispers of desire? Women are conditioned to be cautious, to protect themselves, and that often means masking the intensity of their attraction. She might act indifferent, she might even act annoyed at times, but underneath that, there could be a quiet, burning curiosity, a magnetic pull toward you that you're too blind to notice. Here's the thing. Men are trained to look for obvious signals. He leans in, she laughs, she touches his arm. Classic signs. But what I'm teaching you today goes far beyond the surface. There are hidden, almost invisible cues that scream attraction, and if you miss them, you'll continue to believe the lie you've been telling yourself. A glance that lingers a split second too long, a text that comes at a time when you didn't expect it, subtle shifts in tone when she's around you. These are not coincidences, they're signs. And here's the cruel part. Your mind interprets them as harmless, friendly gestures because that's easier to accept. Facing the truth that she might actually want more is scary. It threatens your sense of safety, of control, of the friend role you've comfortably inhabited. But here's my promise. If you start noticing these patterns, understanding the psychology behind them, and responding correctly, you step out of the friend zone and into a space of irresistible magnetic presence. So, take a deep breath. Let go of your assumptions. Open your mind because what you're about to discover will make you question everything you thought you knew about her and yourself. By the end of this video, you'll see her actions in an entirely new light. Now, let's get real about what you're probably missing. Men are wired to look for overt attraction, flirtatious comments, obvious compliments, physical closeness. But women rarely give it away so plainly. Instead, she communicates in layers, through subtle behaviors and emotional energy. This is where most men fail. They see her texting you late at night or laughing at your jokes and shrug it off as friendship. But here's the truth. These moments are powerful signals coded in female psychology designed to test your attention, your confidence, and your emotional awareness. Think about how she behaves around other men. Does she act differently with them compared to you? Does she seem more guarded, less playful, less engaged? If the answer is yes, then take note. She reserves her emotional energy for you, even if she doesn't openly admit it. Women are emotionally intelligent and hyper-aware of who makes them feel safe, desired, and intrigued. That subtle difference in how she interacts with you versus others is not accidental. It's instinctive, and yet most men interpret it as nothing more than kindness. There's another layer you've probably overlooked: the way she mirrors your energy. Women naturally mimic the behaviors, tone, and body language of someone they feel connected to, someone they're attracted to. She might unconsciously lean in when you lean in, match your speech patterns, or subtly echo your gestures. This is a psychological fingerprint of attraction, and it's happening right under your nose. Most men miss it entirely because they're too focused on proving themselves, too anxious to be entertaining, or too eager to read her like a book. And then there's the emotional testing, tiny, almost invisible challenges that feel frustrating but are actually her way of gauging your confidence. Maybe she jokes about your flaws or teases you in front of friends. Maybe she makes small, seemingly contradictory statements and watches your reaction. This isn't rejection, it's attraction wrapped in disguise. She's observing how you handle emotional tension, how stable your energy is, and whether you can rise above uncertainty. If you can learn to decode these patterns, to recognize the emotional signals buried in everyday interactions, you stop being just a friend and start becoming someone she subconsciously desires. You'll see that her subtle touches, her laughter, her texts, they're all invitations, not coincidences. The moment you start noticing them, everything changes. Suddenly, the dynamic shifts from uncertainty to opportunity, and that's where real power lies, in understanding the hidden attraction that's been there all along, waiting for you to see it. Now, let's talk about what almost no man understands, the emotional tension she creates when she's secretly attracted to you. It's confusing, frustrating, even maddening, and that's exactly the point. Women know how to stir curiosity without giving it away. She might act distant one moment, warm and playful the next. You feel it, but your mind screams, "She's not into me." And that's the trap. That push-pull dynamic isn't rejection, it's attraction. It's her way of seeing if you can handle desire without losing your center. Notice the little things. Does she laugh a little too hard at your jokes? Hold eye contact just a fraction longer than normal. Lean slightly closer when the conversation gets personal. These micro behaviors are almost invisible unless you're truly paying attention, but they're screaming her interest. And here's the secret. She's watching how you notice. If you see it, acknowledge it subtly and respond with calm confidence, you instantly become more magnetic to her. Miss it, and she quietly shifts her attention elsewhere. Now, let's discuss texts and digital behavior, because this is where men get themselves trapped in mental loops. She might text you late at night, but casually, as if it's normal. She might respond slowly, but never ignore you completely. She might even tease you with ambiguity, leaving you questioning her feelings. Don't overthink this. These patterns are classic attraction signals disguised as casual interaction. Women are testing emotional stability, patience, and intrigue. The men who fail, they overanalyze, beg for clarity, or act needy. The men who succeed, they notice the tension, respond with confidence, and let the intrigue build naturally. Here's the thing. She's not sending these signals to frustrate you. She's revealing a side of herself that only someone special gets to see. Your job isn't to push for certainty, it's to understand her psychology, respond in a way that respects both her subtlety and your presence, and allow desire to grow organically. Once you shift your perspective, suddenly the mixed signals aren't confusing, they're invitations, and this is the turning point. Most men stay stuck in frustration, convinced she's just a friend, but those who learn to read the emotional tension, who understand the push-pull dynamics, who recognize the hidden signs of interest, they step into a space of magnetic confidence. They no longer chase, they attract. And that shift, that's when everything changes. Suddenly, she's no longer just a friend. She's curious, invested, and emotionally engaged in ways you probably never imagined. Once you internalize this, the entire dynamic flips, and that's exactly what we're building toward. Now, I want you to really pay attention because this next truth will hit harder than anything you've realized about her feelings. Women are drawn to emotional presence far more than words. She doesn't just want a friend, she's instinctively scanning for someone who can hold space for her emotions without losing composure, someone whose energy feels safe, strong, and intriguing. This is why many men fail, because they focus on trying to impress instead of mastering themselves. She's not impressed by what you do, she's captivated by how you exist. Watch her behavior closely. Does she subtly seek your attention when she's feeling uncertain? Maybe she looks for small confirmations of your presence, like a glance that checks if you're noticing her, a playful nudge, or a quiet, "Are you listening?" These are not random. They're her testing your emotional availability. She wants to feel that you can handle her depth without being shaken, that your confidence isn't conditional, and that your energy is magnetic enough to pull her in without effort. And here's a psychological pattern most men completely miss: the jealousy test. She doesn't need overt drama, but she might mention other men casually or watch your interactions with other women. This isn't to hurt you, it's to measure your self-assuredness, to see if your self-assuredness holds steady. A confident, grounded response isn't bragging or arrogance, confidence. It's magnetic. It signals to her subconscious that you're emotionally stable and, importantly, that you're someone worth desiring. She also shows attraction through subtle caregiving behaviors. A text checking if you got home safely, offering to help when she doesn't need to, small favors with an emotional undertone. These are not gestures of friendship alone, they're expressions of unconscious attachment and interest. The danger is that men often misread them as mere politeness, missing the opportunity to engage her attraction consciously. Here's the final piece of this section, the energy alignment. She unconsciously matches her mood, tone, and body language to yours. If you're calm, confident, and slightly unpredictable, her energy mirrors yours, creating a magnetic pull. This isn't manipulation, it's biological wiring designed to find someone emotionally compatible. Once you recognize and harness this, you move from being invisible in her friend zone to becoming an irresistible presence she's drawn to without realizing it. The signals she's sending are subtle but powerful. Ignore them and you remain just a friend. Notice them, respond with calm confidence, and you tap into a hidden attraction that's been simmering beneath the surface all along. Let's uncover the truth that most men are blind to. Women don't just fall for gestures or words, they fall for presence, confidence, and emotional gravity. She may act casual around you, may joke and tease, but her subconscious is quietly measuring your energy. Every glance, every subtle smile, every carefully timed pause in conversation is her way of assessing whether you're someone who can hold space for her desire without desperation or neediness. And make no mistake, this is attraction hiding behind friendliness. Pay attention to her reactions when you speak about your life, your goals, your passions. Does she lean in, even slightly? Does she ask questions that go deeper than surface-level curiosity? These are not coincidences. She's trying to connect with the part of you that is grounded, self-sufficient, and interesting. Women instinctively respond to emotional stability. It's magnetic. But most men, desperate for approval or validation, respond with over-explaining or seeking agreements, which kills attraction instantly. She's testing whether you can carry your own emotional weight and still make her feel the pull. Then there's the subtle testing through physical proximity. Maybe she accidentally brushes against you, touches your arm, or positions herself closer than necessary. Many men dismiss these as accidental, but they're deliberate, unconscious signals. Women rarely do anything purely by chance when attraction is involved. The challenge is noticing, feeling the tension without panicking, and responding with calm confidence. Leaning into your grounded energy rather than retreating shifts the dynamic from friend to someone she's genuinely curious about and emotionally drawn to. Another sign, she remembers details, not the obvious ones, but the small things you mentioned in passing, a preference, a favorite food, a subtle story. She brings it up later in conversation. This is her way of signaling attention, care, and connection. Most men miss this entirely, thinking it's ordinary politeness. It's not. It's her subconscious investment in you. Women don't remember details for friends the way they do for someone who sparks desire. Finally, notice the contradictions. She may act distant one moment, then warm the next. She might challenge you, tease you, or even question your choices. That's not rejection, it's intrigue. It's her subconscious asking, can he hold his composure? Can he match my energy? How you respond here defines whether you remain a comforting presence or transform into someone she secretly wants. Understanding these hidden patterns is the difference between staying invisible and becoming magnetic. The truth is simple. She's been attracted to you all along. You just didn't know how to read her mind. But once you see the hidden signals, the entire dynamic flips. And when that happens, she starts noticing you the way you've been noticing her. Now we're entering the stage where awareness becomes power. Once you start noticing her subtle signals, her lingering glances, her teasing energy, the way she mirrors your movements, you hold a secret advantage. Most men are blind to these cues, which is why they stay just friends. But understanding female psychology allows you to step into a space of magnetic presence where she is drawn to you without needing to say a single word. This is the invisible edge that separates men she merely likes from men she secretly desires. Let's talk about the art of response. You cannot react desperately or overanalyze. She's already testing your emotional stability. If you respond with calm curiosity, light humor, and subtle confidence, you amplify her attraction. You create tension without stress, intrigue without confusion. Women are wired to crave a man who is comfortable in his own energy, someone who's exciting yet steady. That combination activates desire on a subconscious level, and suddenly, she's noticing you differently. Every micro behavior you've ignored until now, her subtle touches, her quiet checking in, her playful challenges, becomes a doorway to intimacy and connection. And here's the crucial point most men never understand. Attraction is as much about presence as it is about action. It's not about proving your value, it's about embodying it. When she senses that you are emotionally anchored, self-assured, and subtly unpredictable, she begins to experience a pull she cannot rationally explain. That push-pull tension she's been creating, it flips entirely. She moves from testing you to craving your presence. This is how friendships quietly transform into attraction. Another layer is emotional alignment. Women are drawn to men who can match or complement their emotional energy without being overwhelmed. If she's playful, you can tease back with calm assurance. If she's introspective, you can listen without overreacting. The better you mirror and balance her energy, the stronger the magnetism becomes. This is not manipulation. It's understanding her psychology deeply and responding in a way that naturally heightens desire. Finally, understand that subtlety is your greatest weapon. Over-eagerness destroys intrigue. Calm, consistent presence creates it. She doesn't need grand gestures or dramatic confessions. She needs to feel your energy, to sense your confidence, and to be drawn into the emotional rhythm that you control. Once you grasp this, the friend zone dissolves. She sees you not as a friend, not as a safe option, but as someone she can't stop thinking about. This is the point where men either step into magnetic presence or remain invisible. Which side will you choose? Now, this is the moment where everything you've been learning comes together. You've seen her subtle cues, her testing, her emotional pull, and now it's time to understand how to step fully into your power. The truth is simple. She's been secretly attracted to you all along. The glances, the teasing, the moments of closeness, they were never just friendship. But attraction doesn't grow from obvious signals. It grows from presence, confidence, and understanding. And now you can harness it. The first step is emotional mastery. She will continue to test, push, and play with your energy because that's how women measure a man's depth. You must remain grounded, calm, and slightly unpredictable. Do not chase, do not beg. Instead, embody a presence so magnetic that she feels it in her body, not just her mind. When she sees that you are unshakable, that your energy is abundant and self-contained, her subconscious begins to chase what she cannot resist. That tension, subtle, electric, invisible, is the birth of attraction. Next, you use awareness to amplify connection. Remember all the details she shared. Notice the subtle cues she gives and respond with quiet confidence. Acknowledge her energy without over-explaining. Mirror her emotions without losing your center. This is the language she understands, the language of emotional resonance. When you speak it fluently, she stops seeing you as just a friend and starts feeling a pull that she cannot ignore. Every word, every gesture, every glance becomes charged with unspoken desire. Then create moments of emotional elevation without overt declarations. Elevate the interaction, a smile that lingers, a conversation that goes deeper than surface level, a subtle touch that connects without needing permission. These moments imprint desire into her subconscious. Women remember feelings far longer than words. When she leaves an interaction with you feeling excitement, curiosity, and emotional intrigue, she begins to associate you with something rare, something magnetic. Finally, understand the paradox. You don't have to make her like you. She already does. Your role is to step fully into your presence, to embody confidence, and to allow attraction to flourish naturally. Stop thinking in terms of friendship or rejection. Start thinking in terms of energy, psychology, and emotional resonance. The friend zone dissolves not through pleading, chasing, or proof of value, but through mastery of presence. By the time you internalize these truths, she will see you differently. She will be drawn, curious, and emotionally invested in ways that feel almost uncontrollable. And that, my friend, is when the invisible attraction you've been missing all along becomes undeniable.